Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Finally, once a month or once 2 months, as we promised, we're up to schedule, so don't worry about it. Today is seventh podcast.
Seventh? I thought fifth. No?
Seventh podcast. Might be mistaken, but maybe sixth. But anyways, today is
Not the second.
almost the end of the year. It's December 28th.
Mm-hmm.
And today I prepared a couple of topics to reflect on our whole year.
Oh, okay.
What do you think about it?
That's awesome.
So let's just start by saying that this year was amazing.
100%.
It was... Would that be fair to say that this was the best year of our lives? I just thought about this idea and I'm like...
It was the most miraculous year of our lives.
No,
Let's say this.
like the best year of our lives so far.
So far.
Well, of course, so far, because every year is going to be better and better.
No,
But
we had good things before.
yeah, but have we ever had like this many blessings, this good at everything?
Yeah.
When?
When our daughter was born.
No, come on. Okay, so you understand that what I'm saying?
We bought our condo in Ukraine, and when we finished the renovation, that was a miracle.
Yeah, but still within a year, that would have been like very...
with the concentration of things.
Concentration of things.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
It's
100%.
like the whole year. When I said to write them down, not to forget, I was like, what was in the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year, by the end of the year? Like every 2-3 months, something so great happened, though. So let's go through those things. How do you remember 2024 started?
I remember that 2024 started with us waiting to buy a house. I was looking for a house, and we looked at so many houses that we liked. We were stressed.
Katya was crying a lot.
Because we were looking at the houses we really liked, and they all got sold.
She was crying in disbelief. That's the right description of what happened. Yeah.
Zoom on my face.
Yeah.
Because we saw a few houses that we really liked, that we really wanted to buy, but because if you are an immigrant in Ontario and you don't have permanent residence, buying a house without being a permanent resident means you have to pay a tax that is 25% of the house price.
Is it still that way?
It was launched not long before before we moved to Canada. I think it's a recent innovation.
After COVID.
It was after COVID, but it was a newer tax type. It was created to prevent like real estate speculation, so that people would not just buy houses, wait until they go in price and sell them and resell and flip houses.
Speculations.
And to prevent immigrants who come to Canada not to live, but just to buy real estate and then go back to their countries. Because apparently there's a scarcity of houses and real estate in Canada. So they try to stop those like visitors from buying houses. Like if you want to buy a house in Canada, okay, buy and go back to your home, but you're going to pay 25% tax. If you have those money and you still want to buy a house, it's going to be 25% more expensive for you than for everybody else.
Or you can find a distant relative in your extended family, a student, send it here, and he will get a permanent residency, and then 32 of your relatives gonna buy a different house. Each buys a separate house under the PR of this one person.
No, like if there's anyone on the house title that doesn't have a permanent residence or citizenship, you pay 25% tax.
I'm not sure, but they somehow developed this legislation, because at the beginning you needed just one person who has a PR to buy multiple houses.
Right now, like if there's people on the title on the house, and even one of them is not a permanent resident or not a citizen, you're gonna pay 25%. And
we didn't want to do that.
Yeah, because 25% is to say the least, is a lot of money. And to buy a house, we needed permanent residence. So most of the houses that we looked at were awesome and amazing, and they were cheap, and they were like.
Where are they?
One on one of the streets not far from here.
Like we have, when we remember houses. In
another town.
When we think about houses that we looked, we have these names. Like, do you remember this cat house?
Oh, yeah.
That smelled really bad with cat, because there was apparently one of the bedrooms were dedicated to a bunch of cats and their feces. But
the whole house smelled like cat pee, and our socks smelled like cat pee.
It was that.
But that house was like, it was cheap. And we're like, okay, we can buy it for cheap, but we will have to replace all the floors. We'll have to repaint. It has a potential. Yeah. Well, it was awesome because it was on this piece of land that had like really, really huge Christmas trees and overall trees on the backyard. It was facing to a forest or something. It was very atmospheric.
Yeah, I just remember, I think this house that we eventually got is the best of all of them.
Yes.
By a lot. Mm-hmm. But the second after this one, I would say the one that had a huge backyard.
Backyard?
With a pool and a backyard.
Oh, in another town.
Yeah, in another town. It was... The house itself wouldn't be
it was
great
tiny
for us. Yeah, it wouldn't be great for us. This house is way bigger, even though I don't know if the square footage is
this
similar.
House is 100% bigger than that one.
But
that
I don't
one was
think
very small.
But I don't think much bigger.
Yeah, much bigger, because I remember there was one room that
it was tiny,
it
but
was
there was
impossible to fit in the bed.
Probably you're right. This one is bigger, but
it has 3 levels, and that one had only 2 levels at least.
Yeah, but so the backyard was huge,
massive, and I like the house that was on the next street to that one.
Yeah,
that got sold really quickly.
Anyways, there was a time frame within probably a month or 2 months where we would look for a house. We would be like, yes, we really want to buy this one. And then someone purchases it, buys it. And then we're like, we couldn't because we still didn't have a PR. And then another house, the same story. And then another house, the same story. So, and eventually at the beginning, it was end of December, beginning of January, in this time frame, exactly today, but a year ago, we were in a situation where we found this house.
Was it? No. We found it closer to in the second half of January.
I might be...
it was definitely after the New Year.
Maybe, yes, because I don't remember. But anyways, in the beginning of this year, we found this house, and we... knowing that our PR confirmation should be really soon, because we had a confirmation online, but we didn't have it in the very last form or something like that.
Yeah, there's several steps, and we were on that final path.
Yeah, and we risked, and we placed an offer for this house, not having a PR, which meant that we have a month, right?
No, the longest for closing the house is 3 months. And that means that if by the time we are closing the house, we still don't have permanent residence, we are paying 25%.
Yeah, or we bailing out from this deal.
We could not bail out because...
Where we would pay something to...
It would be a few $100,000.
Yeah.
So it's either 25% or bail out.
It's way less than 25%. So that's my point. We still, in any case, we would lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
And there was one full day, more than 24 hours, where they accepted our offer for the house, but we still don't have PR, and we were like, we are so
screwed. We're screwed.
Yeah, and then in one day it came in, and we're
I
like,
remember it was Friday. And let me tell this, because you're gonna say like, oh, you can bail out of the offer. No, because this house already had another buyer, and the seller wanted, but the buyer had the closing date in March, and it was end of January. So we put an offer on January 30th or February 1st. I don't remember. So that was they accepted our offer. There was another buyer who was supposed to close in March. Mm-hmm. So the seller said, like, I'll accept your offer and I'll accept the same price if you give me an unconditional offer, which means 100% sale, guaranteed sale for the seller. But for us, it's a huge risk because we didn't do any inspections on the house. We didn't do a conditional to financing or inspection.
Yeah, for those of you who don't understand how it works, so basically, usually you would put an offer saying, I will buy this house if only the inspection is good and I do have a confirmation from the bank for the mortgage.
Yeah.
So basically, two things that do not depend on you.
Yeah.
So... And usually those are the ways how you can withdraw from this deal.
Yeah.
And for us, putting this, and this seller already had this kind of offer, so similar kind of offer. So for us, in order for us to win this deal, we had to make a better offer, and we couldn't make a better offer in terms of money. So we made it like we're going to buy it anyways. After we saw it just twice, probably, right?
We saw it once.
We saw it once. We just walked around the house and we were like, it looks okay. We can read everything. Like our realtor gave us as much information as she had from the seller. And we were like, let's risk and put an offer without any conditions. So that means that if we bought a house and then we found that, you know, the roof is broken or whatever, like major things would be found after, we have no right to do anything about it. Or even though we had like a very firm confirmation from the bank that we're going to have all the money that we need to buy this house. But anything could have happened.
Yeah.
And if the bank said in the very last moment, hey, we don't want to give you the mortgage, we are in a bad situation, right?
But honestly, like our real estate agent, she is so amazing.
Yes.
Oh my God, this woman is a saint person. She... I have never seen a realtor who works so hard for the benefit of her clients, whether it's selling or buying.
Yeah.
And I don't think we would have bought this house without her, because when we were making an offer, she's like, I'm not going to make an offer that he wants right away. This is not how I work. I'm going to make an offer for a lower price. It doesn't cost us anything. If they say no, they say no. But I won't be me. I won't be myself if I wouldn't try. I'm like, okay, do whatever you want. The cheaper, the better, right? So she even tried to buy it cheaper, but of course he denied. But in everything she did, it was such a, like, we had no idea what we were doing. And she's like, I've got you. Don't worry. You have to do this and this and this. These are the steps. She made sure the bank approved the mortgage, gave us the final approval on the mortgage. And the mortgage agent is...
basically walked us through the whole process because we were like zero on knowledge about how things work here.
Yeah. And also, like, I think this person is just godsend because we were not looking only in the houses in our area. We were considering moving to another area to the west of Toronto. And we looked at a few small towns that looked good. They kind of looked good, but she's like, I'm not even going to take you for an open house there. I'm not even going to show you the house. Don't even ask me, because this town is not okay. This won't be safe. You have 4 kids. This won't be okay. You have a teenager. She needs a good high school. So she even advised us in that, which I really appreciate, because otherwise we would have chosen another place.
We can put a separate episode about this whole journey of buying a house, because it was a roller coaster at some point. But after we finally entered our own house. We have a bunch of vlogs on this channel if you want to see more of our first impressions when our parents got into the house for the first time. Like all these things we filmed, but after the motions were settled, we started renovating it, and the renovation journey was a blessing again. Like everyone that we dealt with, everything that we've done to this house turned out to be
and the
great.
guys who did the renovation also came from our real estate agent.
Yeah, she
has so many contacts and everything and they were amazing. They did a great job.
Yeah, but again, try to imagine yourself in a completely new country, completely new culture. Like if you're a Canadian, imagine you're in China. Like that big of a difference, right?
Yeah, you don't know where to go and what to look for.
And you don't know how honest people here, how much scam is popular. Like if you're gonna ask somebody how much I want to build this wall or build a room, in our case, in this room where we are filming this is a room in our basement that's been built because there was
two walls were built.
Yeah, because there was a open space finished but open space basement. So 2 walls and a door and a light switch. So that's what we needed. And and even in this situation, it kind of like proves the point that every country in these regards probably the same. Because in Ukraine, it's pretty much the same thing. If you order if you invite one guy to ask how much would that be, he'll be scanning you top to bottom, thinking about your answers. How do you, what questions do you ask?
What you're wearing.
Yeah, what you're wearing. He's going to scan you from top to bottom just to make sure that he can, he will not lowball you.
Yeah.
And then we had a situation where we knew that we want to get a quote from multiple contractors. And when it came down to renovating, like building something, specifically building, we had 4.
We had
3 or 4 quotes where 2 of them were kind of similar, or even 3 similar, and one was like 3 or 4, 5
times higher.
5 times. We're talking like. What was the...
Like the standard price that we were quoted was some like $7,500 or something with the material and work and everything.
Yes.
But one of the quotes was like $32,000.
Yeah.
Like,
so you have 7, you have 7.5, you have 8.
680.
Yeah, and then 30.
It was over
like
30.
And the person was like, he was a professional. He had a company, not just a contractor.
It was a big construction company.
Yeah, but no. Like
$30,000.
Yeah, and that was a challenge itself. Like before we started looking for the guys, looking for what we want to do to this house, we knew that the hardest part would be to find people who's not gonna, scam you basically.
Yeah.
And long story short, we found the cheapest, the greatest quality contractors for renovating, building walls and drywalls and so on. Then we found the great guys. Again, all of those were suggestions and not suggestions.
Contacts.
Contacts that our realtor gave us because she knows everybody. And we ended up ordering floors, carpets, drywall and building things from multiple different contractors, but they all did a great job. And I just want to again emphasize on the fact that immigrants could be very different. In this case, we had one case, for example, when they came to change basically carpets in the whole house where there were carpets. They changed all of those because they were in a horrible condition. So there was a bunch of Mexicans.
No, the
Syrians. Syrians.
I think they were Arab.
They were Syrians. I asked them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were from Syria. amazing guys. There was like 5 of them. They were running around our house, doing the job so fast. They were they asked like if they're not certain about some things, they would ask. I was just sitting at my laptop in the corner trying to do a job, my work, and they would ask me things. Like, I was happy that they would double check on certain things, but they did it so fast. They removed all the carpets.
Tell the whole story from the beginning.
Yeah, the whole story that so those are like installers, right? But we had all the conversations, payments, and contracts with the main office, like a firm, where she went there and had all the details settled. And one of the details were that those guys gonna come on a certain day at 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
8 a.m. And we were running late, and we came at 8:15 or something.
8:05 or something like that.
But the thing is that we forgot to close the doors in the house before.
Because I told the guy before that before then, there were the guys who installed vinyl, and I told that I can't come this early. I'm going to leave the house open. They can come in and start working.
Oh, really?
Because and that was the last time.
Yeah.
But for the carpet guys, I didn't say that, but we accidentally forgot to close the house.
And when we got into the house 8:15, meaning 15 minutes later than we agreed to meet, it felt like it was almost 2 hours of work done already.
Yeah.
Like, they removed everything and they cut all the pieces that they need and put them in rooms. So the only thing left is to
install it,
like staple it or nail it or whatever they do. I was like, when did they get here? Like, it feels like 6 or 5 in the morning, which is crazy. And they've done everything by 1 p.m. I called Katya, like, they're out. They did everything.
It was crazy.
Quickly. It was crazy. Pretty much the same story with vinyl. There was a bunch of Mexicans, one Colombian guy, and a Colombian teenager who were kind of like administrator and translator. So they didn't speak any language. But
English.
Yeah, any English. But this teenager that they have, probably who's someone's son, he translated everything that they needed, and they did amazing work, because our house and our floor was
your fingers
was like my fingers. Yeah, it was like this, and they didn't expect that, because you usually need to have it leveled, ideally perfectly leveled. And we had a bunch of issues, and they came up with creative solutions, if you know what I mean. So long story short, we have a perfect flooring. Of course, it all squeaks because it's a Canadian not Canadian quality that we have a joke around our family, a Canadian quality technology. Yeah, Canadian technology, which means that
That'll
okay.
Do.
Yeah, it's okay. Why would you bother? Like, you should have see how we did renovation back home for the condo we did. Like,
we did 3 renovations, like major renovations, meaning that everything was torn down to the studs, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have studs, we have cement.
Yeah, concrete.
So everything was torn down to the base and replaced.
Yeah,
so we did that 3 times.
We're talking laser didn't turn off. They didn't turn off laser. It was all sharp. Every corner, every wall, painted wall. They would put a light bulb on the side of it to see how different. Like,
yeah, but look, you painted this wall yourself. Is it any worse?
It's a Canadian technology.
But it's a wall. It's fine. It works. Who cares?
Yeah. We relaxed so much in terms of the quality of renovation.
That's another blessing for this year.
That'll do. And this wall is beyond perfect to me.
It's perfect.
Yeah. But back then, we tried to do all the things like the best we could. And then, everything, they came up with creative solutions. They were singing all the time. They did, they were doing this all the way up to probably 5 p.m. from the very moment, and they were singing nonstop. And some of them were dancing, and I enjoyed the whole process. I enjoyed more than I'm enjoying floors now right now. But anyways, so we changed floors, we changed carpets, we built some walls, and then we did so much to this house. Like we changed, we cleaned the HVAC, the whole HVAC system.
Yeah,
we cleaned
duct cleaning.
We like. I don't even remember
work, like little things that come up.
Tons of different little things. Yeah. We put the whole smart house here, so pretty much every light switch is smart, so we can turn it on and turn it off with Siri, and then we have a bunch of sensors, leak sensors. So if something is leaking, we'll be notified. Like cameras and a separate story about backyard. The most amount of physical strength and physical power we laid down in our backyard, because and I just watched because I did some video about and downloaded the footage from the drone from this summer. Mm-hmm. From the above, our backyard lawn looks amazing.
And you are complaining.
Yeah, perfecto. If you look closer,
it's not grass.
Then don't look closer.
Weeds and everything, but not lawn.
Just don't look closer. Our lawn, our lawn slogan is "Don't look closer."
He did some transplant grass pieces.
I did
from
everything.
One piece to another, because there were a few pieces that we probably put a few kilograms of grass seed and it didn't grow. So he transplanted grass there and it was growing.
Yeah.
So
and we tried to flatten. There's so much work done, and when I flew drone above our house, I saw that our lawn looks the best across all the houses around us.
We're not selling this house ever.
I don't think we're selling this house
It's just
ever.
Too much work.
We put
and nobody
so
will
much
be
work into it.
willing to pay as much as we would want people to pay.
Yeah, but we need to do so much more. We need to change furnace. We need to change tankless, to go from tank to tankless water heater. We need to build a new deck, because this one is original, which means it's 20 years old. We need to do a lot of things.
You still have night to work.
Yes,
you work days,
and now
full days.
Yes.
So you have nights. You can use nights. Sleep is for losers.
Next year we will count our blessings. New HVAC, new water heater, new deck.
Less kidney.
Less minus one kidney. But anyways,
or two.
We're still doing some things to this house a year later, but we enjoy the process from very beginning and still do.
The miracles, to sum it up, were, first of all, permanent residence, which
that's
the whole
not all.
process.
I have a whole list.
No. The whole process was such a huge blessings, and all the people who were involved in the process of approvals and accepting our cases, and all those emails from the immigration officers, all my calls to immigration service. Oh my God. Even I don't know you, but thank you so much. Whoever did this, I just want that person to be blessed, because honestly, the whole process from the very beginning to the very end was a huge blessing.
And just for you to understand, we mentioned this a couple of times that we came here with a bunch of Ukrainians from our from the company I work for. And eventually we have almost 100 Ukrainians now in this Northumberland county. And I think we're among 1% who got
There's only
PR.
one or two other families who have permanent residence.
So it's crazy. But
so this is a miracle of 2024.
Yeah.
Buying a house is a miracle of 2024, because when we came to Canada, I'm like, I'm never renting. I've never rented in my life. I'm not moving into rental. I'm moving into my house. He was laughing at me. Eventually we changed to rentals.
I wasn't. I'm laughing at you all the time. That doesn't mean
he's making fun of me all the time. So but we moved into our own house, which is still
surreal. Yeah, it's
weird.
surreal. It's surreal.
So weird to understand it.
But then another thing that, looking back, I still don't understand how we found finances for this and how this all happened in terms of kids and so on. So we went for a vacation. And this year, we went to Mexico. It was again one of the cheapest ways.
Which is still like 6 times more than we paid for our last vacation.
Yes, it was expensive, but we just realized that to go through this whole stress in our life, and we needed a way to get rid of kids first of all, and then to be around pina colada and nothing.
Each other. And sun and water.
Each other and pina colada. Yeah. But I mean...
No, pina colada was horrible there.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It was bad.
Yeah, and the whole hotel, and it wasn't the luxury.
The best experience.
Yeah, it wasn't best, but we enjoyed every minute.
It was amazing because it was just 2 of us. And my parents came over in spring, and they were like, my mom, like our older son who has a disability, it's either me feeding him with a spoon or anybody or it's a G tube. It's a tube that you insert in his nose.
And only my dad and your mom can do it.
Me, him, his dad, and now in spring my parents came and I taught my mom how to do it, and she did an awesome job. And she's very gentle. She does it perfectly too. So we're like, okay, there's another person who can do it. We need to leave.
Yeah, we need to leave now.
So they're like, why are you still here? I don't see you running away. Why aren't you packing your luggage? We're like, okay. So we left.
Yeah, so vacation is another thing. And then that we count as blessing in 2024.
Yeah, it's a pure miracle because we didn't count on it. And
we didn't plan it.
We didn't think it's possible because usually financially and physically, because usually there is no one that we can leave our older son with.
We can leave Vanya for my dad after he done with his work or on weekends, but there's no way to leave him because both of my parents work. But then again, another blessing that we didn't plan and we didn't think that it was possible. We got a new car. We had a car.
That was just random, accidental.
Yeah, of course. No. We really wanted a new car. I really wanted a new car just because the one that we had, we paid it off when we sold our car in Ukraine and our belongings in Ukraine. We paid off the car that we owned here and we still own. But it had almost, by that time, it was 170,000 kilometers, 170,000. And it was a lot. And we understand that this kind of mileage will require major things in terms of...
Very soon.
Yeah, very soon. Major repairs very soon.
But it hasn't yet, still.
Yeah, because again, having 2 cars, we dramatically lowered the amount of driving for this, the old car. But yeah, when we knew that we need to buy new tires for this car, and then we need to invest in, batteries, new battery, and some things, we're like, let's just simply find out how expensive that would it be to buy a new car if we would sell this one for like, let's say $10,000 and put it as a down payment. So we go and remind you that back home in Ukraine, we owned a Volkswagen Atlas for less than a year.
Less than a year, we loved the car.
We bought it used.
In August.
We bought it used in August, and February next year. Yeah, the war started. So it was like 6 or 7 months. And
really?
Yeah.
That was that little?
And we loved that car. It was used. It was 2018, and we loved it. It fitted our family perfectly.
It took all our family across the border with a lot of stuff, and our dog and everything. We lived in it for 35 hours or 40 hours. I don't remember.
We spent a lot of time in that car while we were moving out of Ukraine. And so in the back of our minds, we still had this idea that this is a perfect car for us, even though the car that we did have back this whole time was amazing as well. We have Mazda CX-9. And then let's just go to Volkswagen and ask how much would that be to buy a brand new Atlas. And they're like, hey, you can buy it for this amount of money a week per bi-weekly, or how?
Bi-weekly,
bi-weekly with no down payment. We're like, so we just want this car and we take this car?
And like
yes.
Yeah.
So long story short, that's what we did. And thinking that we're going to sell our old car because this is another insurance and a lot of expenses. But so far we couldn't sell it because everyone wants like very cheap price for it, and we don't feel like it's
fair.
It's fair, and in a year we will need this. It would be ideal to have another car for our teenager, because she's gonna have a driver's license pretty soon.
Maybe.
Hopefully. If she's not
she was 16
lazy.
in September. She hasn't taken her G1 yet.
Yeah, just need more harassment.
She needs more pressure.
Yeah. But again, we ended up having two cars, and we have only one car garage. And that's what bothers me, because the other car just stands there and
she's
no one drives
white
it.
and privileged.
Yeah, I know. It sounds very privileged, but I don't call it privileged. I called it undeserved blessing.
Yes.
Yes, that's how I call it. So counting our blessings, we're slowly moving till the end of the year. One of the things that we both thought is impossible.
Yeah.
And she thought it's ultimately impossible. And I thought it's hard, it's difficult, but it's manageable. We can find a way. I almost was sure that it is possible. She was like, there is absolutely freaking no way that she's gonna have a job. Because,
out of home.
Yeah,
outside of home. Yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, any sort of job. She was crying and telling me like, "You're stupid. How could
I didn't call you stupid."
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
You said, "How can you tell me, how is it possible? Do you even think through it?" All sorts of humiliating things she said to me to prove that there's absolutely no way for her to have a job. Like, we have Ivan, a special needs child. He needs all attention. We have all other kids. They have like all these hockey and choirs and and we have a lot of stuff at home. Who's gonna cook? Who's gonna clean? And I'm like, woman, just go find a job. Woman,
go work.
No woman, no cry. Just go find a job. and we will sort all things out. And then that's eventually, this turning point was probably when she found out that there is a way to apply for a special needs kids school bus that's going to pick up our son from our driveway and drop him off on
but that's what we got
driveway.
Only in the last week of school before Christmas.
But the idea of having that plus 3 kids where 2 kids just can walk to their school,
and they always take a bus because they love to hang out with their friends
or
on the
they
bus.
can drive a bike, which he did, the older one did a couple of times. So the 2 kids are very close. The other one, the teenager, it's not a problem to drive her to.
It's just 10 minutes drive.
Or she can take a bus, as I highly recommend to both of you. But I'm ignored so far. Pretty straightforward.
If I drive her, it's 10 minutes. Okay, not 12. 10. 12. But if it's a bus, it's a 40-minute ride in the morning.
So the difference is 30 minutes of sleep.
Yes, half an hour.
And I'm white and privileged, right?
No,
So,
I would feel sorry for her.
Yes, very, very nice. So anyways, 3 kids are already at school. It's not a big deal. And then they tell us that the 4th one is going to be at school almost whole day. And they're going to drive him back and forth. And so, and she's like, am I getting a job? I'm like...
Yeah, so I was looking for a job for a long, I applied to multiple jobs. He says it's not enough, but I applied probably to 50 positions or something like that.
Let's round it up to nothing. You didn't apply
but honestly, I applied to jobs that if I was to get them, that would be a job within my expertise, within my experience. It would match my knowledge and skills and everything. That would be the jobs that I really wanted, that I was doing before.
Anyways, at some point she had 3 jobs.
Yeah, it didn't work out, but then I started working. I talked to my friend. She said she knows someone in Winners, and that someone told her that it's a really good place to work. So I went online, applied, went through interviews, and I got a job. So I worked at Winners, and I honestly
technically at HomeSense, right?
Yeah, Winners and HomeSense is usually one store, but that's 2 different stores. So I worked at HomeSense, and it's an amazing place to be. The team there, the atmosphere there, the feel of I don't know how to explain it. It's like you come to hang out with your friends and do something useful. That's how I describe it. So if you are, honestly, if you're looking for a job, for a part-time job, if you're a student, if you are a mom whose kids are in college or university, if you just have spare time, you want to make extra money.
And it's in walking distance.
Yeah,
then it makes sense.
Yeah, that's very convenient. And that's an awesome company to be a part of.
Because if you need to drive there, you're probably not going to earn enough money to cover the costs.
Unfortunately, I ended up quitting that job because, first of all, if I didn't work, if I worked enough to make enough money so that I would feel that I'm making something, right? So to cover the expenses, for the car, service, gas, insurance, and everything else, then I would be physically so tired. And I ended up being sick for a week. My foot hurt, my hip hurt, my back hurt. I just started falling apart. And this is a very sad thing to say and realize. But if I worked less, then my income was not enough. It didn't make sense for me to keep working. Unfortunately, if I lived closer or I could walk to work, that would be amazing. But also, we still want to sell the second car, so we decided we are not...
there would be no way.
Yeah. With one car, it won't work. Plus, our son still didn't have a bus, and I was driving him. It was either me or my husband driving him to school. So there were many days where I was driving to work, and he would be driving him to school, our son.
Yeah.
So it's too much driving. And then in the end, the profit is not that high that it's not worth
And then
it.
our friends, Ukrainians here in this area, they opened a bakery cafe, and they initially tried to and wanted to do it themselves and run it themselves and cook and everything by themselves, but pretty quickly they realized that they need help, and they asked if Katya can bake, right? You're not cooking there. You were just baking.
Yeah, it's baking. But one of the owners, one of the owners, she had a vacation, and it happened so in a way that a few days after they launched, she had to go on vacation.
Just because
it's just a coincidence.
They bought it way before they decided
it was
to
a coincidence, so I was covering for her
for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, yeah.
Spending from morning till the night.
Yeah, the first week was hard. The second week was half.
It was okay.
Yeah,
and now she's.
And it was an amazing time, but right now I just occasionally sometimes help the girls if they have like too many orders and they need just extra pair of hands. I wouldn't say it's like my part-time job.
Yeah.
I'm just there on call and they're our friends.
Yeah.
So I just like being there and hanging out with them, honestly.
Yeah, but then a new opportunity came to work for a company that helps basically transfer money from Ukraine to Canada for now. Then this company, because I know the owners of that company, and they're looking into expanding and adding more routes, like from India to Canada, from Europe to US, like all different routes of and all different financial services, but mainly to help transfer money from one country to another. And Katya works there as a client support.
Customer, like case manager, customer support, like...
I would not say this customer support, because I hear you talk to clients and I know what things you do with FinTrack and all these like very serious things. This is a way above a regular customer, things that you could call
but like
customer support.
If a customer needs
I would call this account management. That's the right.
Probably.
Yeah, account manager for this pretty new company, and I'm really excited. Tell us, what do you think about this experience? How do you like the job?
I really like this job because it makes me think, and it's very close to whatever I did back in Ukraine, because I used to be a project manager for my husband's YouTube channels with all the advertisement agencies and YouTube like promotion campaigns and everything. And I really like project management. When I was looking for a job, I realized that I like project management because I like seeing a task, then figuring out how to do it, planning it, all those steps, and figuring out what has to be done when and how. And
I'm sorry, what's with your hands?
Those are jeans. Those are like really...
Why is it like you
have a true religion jeans that my daughter said are $200 jeans, but I bought them for $12.
Looks like your fingers are dying,
They are coloring my fingers. I washed them for 10 times and I would cry if I would have bought them for $200. So $12...
How about to throw them away?
No, I like their fit.
Okay.
Anyways, I like this job. I like talking to people. I like seeing things start being done and being finished, and everything falls into a perfect scheme and procedure, and there's reporting, and there's like documents that I need to, like, everything is so structured and organized. I enjoy it very much.
And the best part that we both stay at home.
Yeah.
We can, like, she just started this job, but there were a couple of days already where all four of our kids are at school, and we drink coffee, and then we're like, let's drive to our work, and we would.
He was going to slow, making traffic jams in our downstairs.
We would go down to basement, and our desks like right next to each other, and we would write each other like, I'm already in the office. How are you? Are you still driving? So. It's another like focused but time together. It's absolutely separate businesses, separate jobs, but it's same. Like I enjoy knowing that you're next door, busy with the important things.
Yeah, honestly, when I realized that the job at Winners won't work for me, because I can't physically do it anymore, and financially and logistically, like there are so many small things that fall together, and I realized that I need to quit. I felt so bad because I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I can now when I know I can work, I have all this free time, and I feel like I'm going to waste it because I won't be making any money. So I need another job. What am I going to do? How am I going to
Welcome to the adults world.
Okay, thank you. And
no, I'm so happy that you could restart your career.
Yeah, it's been over 3 years.
Being this old.
Thank you.
All right. I'm just gonna wrap it up with by saying that in terms of my job that I have for the last 6 years, it's been nothing for except blessing. Again, and in 2024, the project, because I'm doing like in short, I'm doing kind of like a startup within the company. It's a new business for this company, and I'm in charge of it all. So it is a very risky and uncertain environment where I am for the last 2 years, more than 2 years already. And only for the last like 4 or 5 months, we started to see a progress, which is amazing. And I have a big expectations from next year. But in this year, it was nothing but blessing with my job as well. So,
and our kids, honestly.
Our kids, my family, my extended family, like my parents doing great. My sister with her husband and their 3 kids are doing great.
Yeah. My parents applied for permanent residence as well.
They all of my extended
our family applied for permanent residence, so and will eventually
they all be here. And it's just surreal to think that we have like 18 months, right? Or less than 2 years, way less than 2 years.
To citizenship.
To apply for citizenship. That sounds crazy. It feels like we just came here like a few months ago.
Honestly, without permanent residence, it's counted like half of it.
Yeah.
So without permanent residence, we lived here for a year and a half. Yeah. So that would be 9 months. Otherwise.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be in February. It's going to be a year with permanent. So a year and 9 months. So we have only another year and a half.
Yeah, like I said, 18 months.
Yeah, 18 maybe 20 months because you travel a lot.
Yeah, which is insane. So there's going to be, let's hope for a podcast episode 100 something where we are like, hello, we are Canadians. So at some point, this is probably going to happen, which is
I just realized that our daughter will probably go to university as a Canadian citizenship. But when we came to Canada, one of the biggest fears I had is that by the time that she will have to go to university, we won't be permanent residents. And then her education,
twice as expensive.
Not twice. Whatever costs $6,000 for permanent residents costs $30 for non-permanent residents, which is crazy. $6,000 for education is something I can understand and justify. $8,000 a year.
It's just $500 a month.
Yeah, but $800. Okay, all those books, and we don't count the living, rent, because there's always. Anyways.
It's another blessing that we're gonna be reporting in 2 years probably, because so far we financially are trying to wrap our minds around it because we have 4 kids. So at least 3 of them will need a higher education. So anyways, it was a great year. Hopefully your year was amazing as well. Share your I don't know, maybe good things and bad things, because let's be real on this, and vulnerable, right? We can be vulnerable here in the comments as well. So thank you for watching, and hit the like, subscribe, share. We love you.
See you next time.
Happy New Year.
Bye.